Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 1 Samuel, the 21st chapter. And we see here after David had fled from Saul, and been forewarned by Jonathan, he now flees here to Nob, all right, which we are at now, 1 Samuel 21. Then came David to Nob, to Ahimelech the priest. And Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why art thou alone, and no man with thee? And I believe Ahimelech was a descendant of Eli. Let me see here. Let's look this up. Was Ahimelech a descendant of Eli? 1 Samuel 21. Yes, Ahimelech was a descendant of Eli. He was the great-grandson of Eli, and his lineage was traced through his father Ahitub, or Ahitub. Ahimelech served as a priest at the town of Nob, where we are now. So he sees David and he's a bit weary, and he's asking him, well, what's going on? Why are you alone? There's nobody with you. You're a captain, right? So what's going on? Where are your men? And David said unto Ahimelech the priest, The king hath commanded me a business, and hath said unto me, Let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee, and what I have commanded thee. And I have appointed my servants to such and such a place. So David utilized the fact that, I guess at this point it wasn't 100% publicly known. He wasn't like a public enemy, right? And so knowing that, he basically, used wisdom in deceiving Ahimelech in this case, right? So he just made it seem like, oh, well, the king gave me a special mission, all right, that basically I can't tell anybody about it, right? And that's why he says here, let no man know about anything of the business whereabout I send thee and what I've commanded thee. So you can't, it's classified. And he said he appointed his servants to such and such a place. So he basically sent his servants, to certain areas, likely as a part of this mission here. So that's why he's by himself. Now therefore, what is under thine hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in mine hand, or what there is present, right? So what do you have? What's what provisions do you have right now? I need some provisions. And the priest answered David and said, There is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women. Now, the common bread was just like regular bread. Hallowed bread was bread that was put, like the shoe bread, that was put before the Lord and would be replaced, at a certain cadence by freshly baked bread. And the one, like when the new bread came, the old one would be, you know, technically hallowed, but it would, the priest would be able to eat it, right? So he's saying, I don't have just regular bread, but I do have some hallowed bread. If your men have at the very least, kept themselves clean, right? Because when it says they've kept themselves at least from women, meaning not having sex with women, because when you engage in intercourse and you release your seed of copulation, it makes you unclean, right, for a period of time. And then you have to wash yourself and wait till the evening time. So he's saying here, if at least they haven't been dealing with women, these past few days, they will be quote unquote ceremonially clean, um, to have some, even though it's really for the priests. And David answered the priest and said unto him, Oh, of a truth, women have been kept from us about these 3 days, since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy. So don't worry, yeah, they're clean. We're good. We haven't been, ain't none of us been in dealing with women these past couple of days. And the bread is in a manner common. yea, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel. So what he's saying is, while the shewbread is before the Lord, before it gets replaced by the freshly baked one, it's technically hallowed, right? Because it's consecrated unto the Lord. And once it's actually removed and swapped out for the fresher one, then it becomes, you can use it. So that's what David is saying here, that, well, surely the one you have now is usable, since, you know, it was at one point sanctified unto the Lord, but now they've replaced it with a fresh one. So we should be able to have that. Verse 6, so the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread there but the shewbread that was taken from before the Lord, to put hot bread in the day when it was taken. So when they take the shewbread, they replace it with the freshly baked one. That's the hot bread. Now a certain man of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before the Lord. Now it doesn't specify for what reason he was quote unquote detained there, whether maybe, he had leprosy or something. And, according to the law, that's just one example, right? I'm throwing out there. According to the law, the priest would examine, an individual of such case to see if that was like a yellow, bright hair or spot was indeed what they thought it was. So by giving it a period of time, they could inspect and see if it spreads, then they know what it is, and so on. So that's maybe one possible reason why he was there. But long story short, this servant was there, and his name was Doeg, an Edomite, the chiefest of the herdmen that belonged to Saul. So he was one of those in charge of Saul's herdmen. And David said unto Ahimelech, and is there not here under thine hand spear or sword? Don't you have any weapons, a sword, a spear? For I have neither brought my sword nor my weapons with me, because the king's business required haste. So this was a special mission, and it was urgent, so I didn't even have time to bring my weapons with me. My weapons? And the priest said, the sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom thou slewest in the valley of Elah, behold, it is here, wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. If thou wilt take that, take it, for there is no other save that here. So, I mean, if you want that, that's all I have, so you can take that, but I don't have any other weapons here. And David said, there is none like that. Give it me, I'll take it. And David arose and fled that day for fear of Saul, and went to Achish the king of Gath. And the servants of Achish said unto him, is not this David the king of the land? Did they not sing one to another of him in dances? So here, obviously, they knew he wasn't the official crown, like he wasn't officially king, but they're saying he might as well be, considering that he's even overshadowing that of Saul. Right, as they go on to say, is not this David the king of the land? Did they not sing one to another of him in dances, saying, Saul hath slain his thousands and David his 10,000s? So now, if even those of Gath heard this, you can see why Saul was wroth, because this wasn't like a tiny little 5 women here and there singing this. This was like a thing. It was known throughout the land. And David laid up these words in his heart, and was sore afraid of Achish, the king of Gath. So when the servants of Achish were saying this, David thought in his mind, shit, they're about to bring me to him. And if he thinks like this, he might just slay me, or try to use me as leverage against Israel, because they might think that I'm somebody of importance. And so, as it says, and he changed his behavior before them, and feigned himself. To feign yourself is to pretend. So he feigned himself mad in their hands. So as they were bringing him to their king, the king of Gath, to bring him into the king's presence, he acted like he was mad, like he was basically mental, and scrambled on the doors of the gate, and let his spittle fall down on his beard. So he was acting like somebody that had a disability, like a Down syndrome or something, where he looks weird. Probably made his eyes look cross-eyed a little bit, spit all over his beard, can't really, speak right, like just like he's not there. Obviously, he was all the way there, but he was being cunning here to try and save his life. Then said Achish unto his servants, Lo, ye see the man is mad. Wherefore then have ye brought him to me? So why are you bringing him here? Clearly, does he look like he's good to you? Have I need of madmen, that ye have brought this fellow to play the madman in my presence? Shall this fellow come into my house? Come on, get this guy out of here, man. What the hell is this? And so once again, the Lord, you know, blessing David with wisdom, uh, has him escape out of potential danger here, bringing us to the end of 1 Samuel, the 21st chapter. So, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Bracha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.